Welcome to Coffee and Regs.
What's the one piece of advice you think, if someone came to you today and said, what's the one piece of advice that you think is the most important for someone going or considering going independent? What do you think that would be?
Great question. I'd say you just begin the conversation. I know that maybe sounds a little cliche, but you have to not be intimidated by the process, not be embarrassed that, oh, maybe you don't know how this works, because if you've lived in a different world, if you've worked in a traditional employee broker dealer model your entire career, why would you know how this works? And so the first step is just seeking out that information of, okay, how does this work at a generic level before you start worrying about the particular custodian, or maybe even going to join an RIA and which RIAs are out there, whatever the case is. You need to understand the model generically first, because it's not for everyone. I'm a believer in being a straight shooter, and while there are extraordinarily upsides to having your own RA firm from an economic standpoint, flexibility standpoint, things like that, there's also responsibilities that come with it. And I think it's important to understand both sides of those coins. So what are the pros? What am I going to get that maybe I don't have now? And likewise, what responsibilities that I perhaps don't have now are going to come with that? And how does that look for my practice? And quite frankly, it's not a fit for all advisors, but you don't know if the grass is greener until you take a look. And so I always encourage advisors, and it's self-serving, because I get it. That's what I help advisors with, but hey, why not take a little time, invest a little time to better understand it, figure out if it is maybe a good path for you. And then if it is, then you continue down that process. And if you learn about it, you say, hey, that's not for me, or at least you're making an informed decision of what that best path is. I think that'd be if you said one piece of advice, it's just have that conversation, start learning about it, see if it's worth you digging into further.
Yeah, I always feel that you have to have a little bit of entrepreneurship in you in order to take that first step, and those first steps of doing the investigation, doing the research about what's involved. And I love how you were talking about the grass is always greener, because it's amazing that when we work with these firms and we help them with their registration and we help build their compliance program and we get them onto the other side and they're independent, I'll always get a phone call from a client 6 months later, and he'll say, him or she will say, it's like the Wild West. Like, I'm able to do all these things that I've wanted to do, but I was never able to do in my own shop. Because when you are working for maybe a wirehouse or a larger organization, you may be limited to the type of funds you can invest your clients in. Maybe you wanted to invest in ESG type investing because your clients kind of are passionate about it, but there were no options. So now all of a sudden you can look at those options. You can look at Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. And I have to say that, and we love with working advisors when they're first starting out, because we love to see them grow their practices and help guide them. And one of our clients actually said it really well. Like, when he was looking to start, he really wanted to focus on making sure he satisfied his clients and keeping the clients really happy through the transition. So he wanted to partner and have those experts and hire the experts out there to help them with things like cybersecurity or the legal or the compliance or the whole organization, because they know they can't do it all. Like, there's already so many hats that you can wear. We always say a compliance officer that wears multiple hats and is also the business owner, something's going to get sacrificed. And so it's really important, and I agree with you, to find those partners that can help you get through that process and get to that wild west of being totally independent in the RIA space.
This has been another episode of Coffee and Regs.